okay, this is not valuable, Norense, you do this all the time. That thought is dormant, but it's on me to actually know the truth about me. Like, bruh, I don't give a damn what that thought say. I know who I am. I am who he says I am. I can do what he says I can do. And if I'm speaking behind this, it's for a purpose. And I don't care about how I feel about in this moment. My vision, my purpose, servicing people, helping people, even as I'm stuttering, that's more important than my feeling. Welcome back, Mind Bully episode. I was going to say Mind Bully Podcast, but this is an episode of the Mind Bully Podcast. Norense is the host. This is a podcast focused on beating the hell out of your negative voice. Maybe I'm kind of lax, chill with my arms folded, but kind of for right now. And, today, these past few days, I've just been feeling, well, in a real introspective mood, kind of thinking and going over different things as I shake the mic. And I am. And again, I was going to say, usually I'm in a jovial, upbeat mood. If you haven't listened to this podcast, please do me a favor, rate, review this podcast. Not if you haven't. If you have, rate and review, tell a friend. If you haven't, please stick around, subscribe. Anyways, I usually am in a jovial mood, but today I'm kind of chilling because I don't know. And I think I know a lot of us, anyone listening has different views, has different versions of themselves. And it's important to showcase all of it and not just highlight the points that in the times that I'm upbeat and loud, just get behind the mic and speak. No, that's not my job. My job here on this podcast is to overcome the negative voice as I'm on the journey, the steps in the climb. I always say this. I will never not say this. It's, as we step and as we're going in our journey, documenting the journey, knowing that, I could look back and say, damn, like I came from a lot. I overcame a lot. I was happy in that moment, sad in that moment, pissed in that moment, anxious in that moment. And regardless of it all, I look back and I see, man, like I stuck with it. I stuck with my grind. I stuck with what I saw in myself. And just having a document and having a guide to kind of look back and see, it's actually really cool. But no, I say that as I shake the mic again, as you see. I say that because, when you're doing something, and I say this a lot too, you always, or for me, I see myself as one thing and then I stick with it. I never deviate. I never go and try a different setup like this right now as you're watching. If you're watching is a different setup. I never use this kind of angle. I'm trying things out. And, I've learned that brings forth my creativity. Like last week, I went to the art museum and shout out Keenan. Keenan, my boy, best friend, he likes my Instagram story of me taking a picture at the art museum because we kind of challenge each other to do different things creatively. Like he's a photographer, budding photographer, he does things like that. And I went to an art museum because I think when you go to different places, different spaces that you're not familiar with, or you don't have quote unquote the interest, you find different versions of yourself. And I always say this, opening yourself up to growth makes you more like yourself, not less. A lot of times we think we're in this one kind of lane. Like this is all that we know. If you're a basketball player, I only play basketball. I watch basketball after practice. I study the game. I study film. Yes, I love the game. But you realize that you actually also like other things. That child that picked up the basketball liked something else, but he just happened to stick and grow with basketball. And everyone along the way was pushing that child to, no, stick with basketball. No, you can't play two sports if you're in high school and you go to a basketball college or high school, whatever. No, you can't play dual sports. You can't do anything else. No, you got to grind because one, that's what it takes to be successful. And that's what it takes if you set a goal, like you got to lock in. But two, not knowing their agenda. A lot of the times we hardly look and pause when people are telling us things, especially in our childhood. Let me contextualize the advice. Like, who is this coming from? Okay, a coach wants me not to play football, baseball, other sports that I would love to keep going in. Why? Because he wants my sole attention on basketball. He wants to win. Yeah, he might have a good agenda of, pouring into the kid that way, telling them to focus, teaching that grind, that mentality. Or he also wants to win and keep you locked in. And a lot of the times, fast forward to this day in our now, we kind of stick with that mentality. Like whatever we see ourselves in, whether it's a high paying job, whether it's a profession, whether it's a education, not an education, but a major, whatever it's just something that we saw ourselves from childhood seeing that we're doing. And we're doing it now and we're doing it to a high level. But there's something in us that just wants to shift. There's something in us that just wants to try something else. It's like an agitation. You're doing the thing that you want to do and that people saw you good at. You've grown in it. You've grinded in it. Anything you practice over and over with diligence and persistence, you'll get your result. You'll become great at it. And so you're good at what you do, but you're like, is this all that I ever wanted to do? Yeah, like there's always something to still chase and run after in your profession, like a basketball, like, oh, NBA player, but NBA player, and then what? Is that all I ever wanted to be in my life? And I sit and I kind of ponder and just sit here in this kind of mood because over the last few days, I've just been thinking about, our age of the 20s. I'm 27 years old. I'm back home with my parents. And for one hand, even saying that, I don't care. You guys know me. I speak my life. I don't give a damn because God made me this way. And I'm behind this mic to say all parts of me, not just highlight the great parts, or I think that's a great part, but not just highlight the things that people, perception might look at, oh, negative. No, like as a Nigerian culture, like, bruh, this is what we do. Like we stay at home. I was actually in a bar the other day, Casablanca, and one of my friends, shout out Anna, she's a DJ, Riz Killa. She's really good. She plays Afro beats. And sometimes after, a long week editing podcasts, last week I did a podcast, but I edited like well documented. I edited, and I had a lot on my mind. So Saturday, I was looking forward to go to Casablanca to just sit there and listen to some Afro beats. And so I get there and I'm at the bar, I eat the food, and there's two girls. They're actually really dope. They end up shout out my boy Daniel Gresham. They actually literally one of the girls is a sister to who my boy Daniel is marrying next week. And so I'm like, I didn't get an invite to the wedding. So Daniel, forget you. But then the girl who's, the in-law basically now, she texted Daniel. I texted Daniel. I'm like, I'm actually gonna come. So I'm gonna go to that wedding. And he's like, yeah, I want you to come. Anyways, but long story short, we talk and I'm sitting there with these two women and they're saying, oh, a man. I think we were talking about what you want in a man and what you like in a man because I like those conversations when you get to a bar. And one of them goes, "Well, he can't be at home with his parents. They can't be living with their parents. That just shows that they're." I was like, "Time out, time out." Since when does living at home with your parents equate to a lack of drive, lack of worth, lack of going after something, lack of actually being a man? Since when? I think a lot of the times we just hear things in society, we hear things in social media, and we just grab onto them like they're just the sole truth. Like nobody has any independent thought. Nobody, we're seldom independent thinkers nowadays. It's funny. And I was just like, that's kind of Western world, how Western cultures might talk, independence, grind, go. But like, in Nigeria, actually any culture, I feel like overseas, it's more common to stay in the home, to grow that way, keep the family unit close. And for me, I didn't even speak about me. I was just like, okay, let's say you're a professional athlete, you make good money, you make over six figures, and you live everywhere over the span of 10 months, whether you're overseas or, well, let's say you're in the G League and you come back. Where are you coming back to? Like, why would I pay rent in a place that I never am at? And in a space or a profession that, okay, the next 3 months I'm here for a summer, I'm going to leave again. Why would I pay? Like, it doesn't make sense. And if you're single and you don't have a family and you don't have a wife, like, does it make sense? And she's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just shows the drive. And I'm like, it's just funny how people think. And at first, when she was saying that, I almost got defensive. But then I'm like, bruh, one, I have nothing to hide from no one. Two, it's like that negative voice, that mind belief wants you to look into yourself like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to talk. I'm not good enough to speak. I'm not good enough to walk in these rooms and be myself because I have a chink in my armor. But I'm like, actually, that's my advantage. Actually, I actually love doing that. Actually, twice, whatever. I actually love living here. I actually am growing through this. And, even I actually have the funds to go get a place. I wanted a house last year. I lost my job from Amazon. I still have a job now, but it ain't the bread that Amazon did. But it's like God actually protected me. I was gonna buy a house last year in August that wasn't right for me, and I look back and I'm like, appreciate you, God. And then I lost a job. I'm like, bro, it wasn't time for that. You feel me? But I could buy a place, but it's like, I didn't even expect to speak. Yeah, you know me, I talk about everything. I'm so locked into, building this podcast out and building other things that I want to do that, the house isn't kind of top priority, I guess. And I know culture and I know society says, oh, buy assets over lot. I got assets, I'm into stocks, all that. I'm smart with my investments, but it's like when I have an opportunity to stay with my parents and learn about my lineage and ask questions about my childhood and my parents, not knowing that not every day is promised, not every day is guaranteed, not every day is just fine line, it's gonna happen. Knowing that there's a purpose and there's a season in my life that I'm in right now that I'm supposed to be here, and that if I honor the season and do my best with it, those things will come because I'm a child of God. I don't have to worry about things like that. So in that conversation, I'm just like, bro, you understand that everybody's situation is different. And it's so funny when you look for a guy or a partner in that space in their life and they have to have that, they check off all those boxes, you're kind of disregarding the factor of those that don't have it at that time who will have even more. If it's a competition, if it's a race, you're okay. Let's say this person is at the starting point and phew, they're way faster, they're way farther than so and so behind them. Not knowing as soon as it clicks, they like Usain Bolt run into the finish line, whatever that finish line is. It's just so funny that, that people only look at their life or look at life in such a minute way, such a fixed way that can't change. Like if you are how you are right now, that's how you always will be. No, it doesn't make sense. I'm more of the notion and more of the mindset of growth, and that we have the ability to grow into the steps, into the places that we always want to be. And if you're looking for a partner, if you're looking for anybody, it's the traits that you look for, not the things that they have. And I say all that to say this: the 20s, your 20s, those talks and those opinions, those people will come and those people will try to say those type of things. But it's like knowing who you are, knowing why you do the way you do, knowing that you're different than anybody else, and knowing that you don't have to be on anybody else's schedule. If I'm listening to this and I'm a young man, I got to know that, okay, bruh, I got to protect and care about who I am first, protect the relationship that I have with, for me, Christ, protect the relationship I have with my siblings, protect the relationship that I have with my parents, my family, my extended family. Like, keep the family close. That's one of the things that in my life that I deal with. And it's not the sigh. Yeah, I sighed because it's like if I open this bag of worms, it's like, bruh, I'm gonna just keep talking about it because it's like when I lost my cousins, they got hit by an 18-wheeler. And I talk about this at length. And sometimes even hearing the clips, I have a clip of it on my IG at kingno underscore. I don't want to click onto it and listen to it because it's like, bruh, I don't want to hear it. I actually have a plaque of my cousin over there. He used to work at Stack Overflow. Shout out Nick Horn. He sent me the plaque of his kind of the room they remembered him in. Stack Overflow got, I think they closed down. They closed down their NY building. But anyways, he sends me the plaque, and it's just keep the family close. It's tough. And in your 20s, you kind of start to realize what actually matters in life, especially me in this time, honestly. It's like when you start 20, let's say at 20, you're a sophomore in college and you don't really know what's going on. Actually, you think you know it all. You think you know it all, but you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you'll need. You don't know what is actually of value in this moment of your life. You're just trying things out. You're trying to have fun, growing in who you are. You finally have a first piece of freedom. And for me, it's when adversity really struck in my life for one of the first times. I broke one of my foot. Sa. And not knowing that this was going to be preparation for me breaking the other foot. I broke my foot. I was playing TCU. I played for Texas Tech. For those that don't know, played forward. Let's say sophomore year, I was kind of hefty. I wasn't, the the smallest child. I went from in my college career playing basketball. I went from 300 pounds to 240, and I say that with a grain of salt. Those that know that know. Anyways, I was playing in my hometown, Fort Worth, and played at TCU. Texas Tech Red Raiders came in there prepared, ready to go. But me, I had a whole bunch of people from the city. I went to North Carolina High School, come to watch me play. My family was watching me play. And so I came down, I grabbed a rebound, and smack, there goes my fourth metatarsal on my left foot. And part of it, I think, was the weight. Part of it was, we played Under Armour, terrible shoes at the time. Now they've improved. Obviously, that's how it works. NIL happens when we leave. Better shoes happen when we leave. Anyways, we paved the road for some people. But after that moment, I kept trying to play. I played more possessions than Big Head Little Chris, our trainer. We got a good relationship. He took me off. I walked behind the bench, look to the left, I see my family, look to the right, I see my friends. And as I'm walking back down the tunnel, limping, holding Lil Chris' big head in his shoulder. I'm just like, what has happened? And to that moment, I kind of steered my path in my own view. I went and I graduated high school and went the post grad route while my twin brother went to Texas Tech. I did the post grad route. I had no offers. I grinded. I had, the leader, the owner, the organizer of the prep school that I went to tell me to take a low level offer, that I won't ever get a bigger offer, that this is the best I'm going to get. Like, you're overweight, you can't jump, you don't have athleticism, you're not good enough. Take this offer. And I bet on myself, I bet on my skill, and I bet on the talent and the grind, the work ethic that I had to keep going, to keep grinding. And then I played at Oak Hill, I had a great game. I played at IMG, I had a great game. End up getting this highlight tape together with my boys Steven Spurlock and Caleb Castro. And I just started sending it off to colleges. And I say this all the time to kids that ask me, how do I get into D1? It's just the urgency that you must have. And I was doing so. I was just literally, I sent it to every assistant coach that I could, that at a school that would need a big. Long story short, I'm at Texas Tech. And I say that to say, to this moment in my life, I've planned, something doesn't go well. Okay, I'm going to switch it on its head. And maybe it wasn't the first vein of freaking adversity that I've had in my life, because again, I didn't go off to college when my brother did, when everybody was like, oh, where are you going to college? You going to prep school? Like, bro, like, think of it, like the thoughts, the ideas, the suggestions that came to my head that, oh, okay, I'm less than, I'm not good enough, I'm not part of the group that's going off to college or doing things. You always grow and think of college, college, college. I want to be in college. I want to play sports at a big time school. And all I had was lower level schools. I could have easily, and damn, I'm actually thinking of it. I could have easily been like, man, I'm not good enough. I'm not worth it. I can't do the things that I want to do. It was a screen in front of what I saw as my future. And how do I bust that screen open and walk in the path that God had for me? It's the intensity and the audacity I had to bet on myself. I say that to say this. I knew what was happening. I knew what I had inside of me to that point. Like, I could get through this. I planned that and I did it. And when I broke my foot, I never knew how to handle that. I never had had an injury to that caliber to where it takes me off the floor. I couldn't grind. I couldn't push. I couldn't think on my toes on, okay, I can do this. Okay, they say this. Let me go back home and say, okay, I'm going to put it together. I couldn't do it. I literally had to stop. And if you're listening, if you're watching, how many times in our 20s does this happen to us, where we're thrown a wrench that we didn't come or see coming? Like, whoa, let me dodge that mother, because that mother was coming fast with some lightning speed. Like, how many times do we foresee things coming our way that's never actually happened to us? And maybe it's never actually happened to anybody like in our immediate circle. Nobody had broken their left metatarsal. Usually their fifth, they're like, oh, that's weird. The fourth, oh, we don't know how to handle that. And it's like, what do I do? And through that time, it's really the search. And if you're listening, it's really the search within yourself. I went from 300 pounds to 245 because I just had to find a different way to survive, find a different way to motivate myself to keep going, to keep growing, to build back. And those weeks were tough, but it's a symbol, and it's kind of a lesson of life. It's like, when you're faced with the unknown, not knowing what will happen next, what tomorrow will look like, what your next week will look like. You can't plan when you can't see it. It's on the everyday effort. Actually, backtrack it. It's on the self-awareness to know, okay, I'm feeling this way. Why do I feel like I can't make it? Is it because I've been planning my whole life, and then, okay, the time that I can't plan something right now, I have to focus on something else. I have to lean on something else. It's knowing that, okay, I don't actually have all the answers. I do have mistakes. I do have flaws. I don't have it. I don't know it all. We all think I know it all. We know it all. We don't know it all. It's knowing, okay, why do I think I have to know it all? And if I was to backtrack in my life, it's because of not knowing how I would really survive without knowing the next step. I don't know if it makes sense. I don't actually care, but I know that in your 20s is a time to really sit back and pause more than you run. So a lot of times we just run, 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 and we tire ourselves out. And then we look back at, the race that we just ran, and we're like, that was freaking pointless. Like, what the hell were we running for? We could have just learned from somebody else's experience with wisdom, patience. And through that injury, I was able to fight back, came back, NCAA tournament, and literally lost the game. Our coach leaves. Our new coach comes in. I break my other foot. The story continues. Adversity, adversity, trials and trials. And in your 20s, you can't see those things coming. So it's like, why do we try to plan the whole way? And, for this podcast, I didn't really have a map in my head. I didn't know it was going to go this way, but I like speaking and talking things out. But because it's my actual experiences that I know that's helping me right now as I shake the mic, but it's also helping somebody else. I know it. And it's like, even I do these episodes. I do Talking Tough episodes, obviously, but the moment episodes. And sometimes I just talked about running the race to race to race. I do it now, like this podcast. I run, okay, I got to do this. I got to plan. Talking Tough's out. The moments are out. I got to get a guest. Okay. Also, this new opportunity that I'm thinking of, I'm trying to build of. I don't have a job. What does that look like? I got to help my family. I got to pour out to this and this and this. You're trying to run. You're running a race. And listening to one of the moment episodes where I was getting interviewed, shout out Kyla, she interviewed me and I was speaking my own story, telling my own story, my own childhood. I'm like, damn, this is really interesting. And damn, this is actually really helping me. And I'm like, oh my God, like just hearing my own story, that moment of pause, that self-reflection, able to articulate myself in that way. I'm like, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Like this is actually needed as I lick my lips, because I always hate, sidebar, I always hate when I look at these clips and my lips are ashy and chapped, whatever. But as I shake the mic again. But I said all this to say patience is a thing that we need to need in our 20s. Patience is a virtue, and it's something that I've had to learn over these, last couple weeks, these last couple years. It's patience. It's knowing that, okay, you don't know what you don't know. And for you to know what you don't know is to try things and then, oh, I actually don't know it all. And it's on you to take counsel from other people that actually has been through that. That's why I now always I go to people before me that did the thing that I want to do and take on counsel. Like I have an opportunity with Texas Tech that I want to run into. I look at a mentor that I have, Kevin Carr, shout out to him. Okay, how did you do it at Florida? How did you do it? I talk to other people that's done what I want to do. That's what I would love, that a kid, an athlete, okay, I'm trying to go and play at this level. How did you do it? You're the winningest player at your college, humbly I speaking, whatever. But you're the winningest player at Texas Tech. And I never say that. I should probably stand in that more because I have pride in that. But how did you do it? How did you become that guy? How did you overcome these things? Is to go to the people that's done it. That's why I get so frustrated, bro. And it's people, again, if you're listening, if you're watching, you try to run this race as fast as you can because the fastest wins. It's like on social media, if they're trying to break a news story, fast, 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 fast. And then not knowing, like, you have errors if you go too fast. You have errors if you don't pause. If you don't have all the information, you will mess up. You will have a mistake. And a lot of the times, that's what I get irritated about, even coverage. I like Texas Tech and I have, accounts, not account, I don't have accounts. I watch accounts that, break news and talk about sports and they have no idea what they're talking about. Like literally none. And it's like, bro, you're just running so fast. It's on you to pause, stop, actually study the material, study the game, learn more, speak about the real actual stories. I don't know. I just have that agitation, but it's like in life, if you're listening, that's us. That's all of us. We run so fast. I got to do this. Oh, they say, oh, I got to have an LLC and get my money into this and flip it into this. Not knowing a year later, like, damn, I did that totally wrong. Like, that's me. Not knowing, well, actually, I did it right, but it's an example. It's like you just try to do things so fast because you're competing with who? Like, you're trying to survive. And life in survival mode will always have you tired. You'll be burnt out because you're trying to please and try to do all these things that people say that you should do, not knowing that you don't actually look at that little child that, okay, wait, 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 wait. That kid never actually wanted to do all of this. A lot of the times we think that we're in sole control of our actions, in sole control of our decisions, that, okay, we know it all, so we must have conscious awareness of all the decisions that we make. No, it's not how it happens. The subconscious, there's things, how the environment that you're in, nurture versus nature, your environment actually has a point and a side to what you actually do. And knowing that, it's to start with the self-awareness of, okay, I don't know it all. Why do I think I have to know it all? Now, how and what do I actually believe about myself? I can do this. I can grow through this. I can grind. Like I am something. I have a purpose. I have a big vision. How do I protect that vision? Number one is the environment. Like I just said, you can't have all these opinions from other people crowd and cloud your own judgment. I have a total problem with people speaking on their situations, projecting onto another individual. Okay, it's your decision to listen to that. I just had a conversation with somebody. I told my pops that I always said that, I said this on this podcast with Texas Tech. I was in the committee, the search committee to find our new basketball head coach. And it was literally Dusty Womble, big donor at our school, great guy. Kirby Hokut, the director, the AD of the school, that's big. Football coach Joey McGuire, literally that's big. And little old me, like Norense, that played basketball there. Like, so part of me was like, yay. Now I preface it with part of me. All of me was like, yay. I only saw it as a good thing, a great thing. But I listened to somebody gave me counsel. It was like, oh, they only put you in there because of your name and that fans like you. They only put you in there for that reason. Like, and then my dumbass, agreed with that thought. Like subconsciously, I was like, oh, maybe. And if you're listening, if you're watching, how many of us do this all the time? We are so excited about an opportunity. We're so excited about what we're doing. We're so excited about what we're growing into. And then we pick up our little phone, call a little friend, tell them about it. And that friend projects onto us. And then we accept what they projected. That's a decision. It's a decision I made. And through literally prayer, and I'm thinking, I'm like, bro, I actually didn't believe that. I accepted that. I literally accepted it. I did not believe that about myself whatsoever. There's one thing getting wise counsel from people, but there's another thing just taking on a whole, what is it called? Devil's advocate. It's called devil's advocate for the reason. That's the devil. Why the hell do I need a devil's advocate? No, I don't need that. What does advocate mean? It's a helper. It's a guy. The devil's helper. Hell no. I don't need that. It's it's reality to actually believe the truth about yourself. It's reality to actually believe the truth about what he said about you. It's reality to actually look at the situation and say, okay, here are the facts. That's awesome. And not think anything else. I don't know. I think we all have that issue of that devil's advocate approach, not knowing that, okay, the environment that I'm in, the thoughts that I let lay in my head, the thoughts that are dormant that I let somebody wake up with something stupid that they say. And that thought, let me make this clear, it wasn't even dormant in my head. It wasn't in my head. But a lot of times, oh, I'm not good enough to make a podcast. Oh, I'm not good enough to do this. Oh, I'm talking crazy. That thought is dormant in my head. Okay, this is not valuable, nor aren't you do this all the time. That thought is dormant, but it's on me to actually know the truth about me. Like, bruh, I don't give a damn what that thought say. I know who I am. I am who he says I am. I can do what he says I can do. And if I'm speaking behind this, it's for a purpose. And I don't care about how I feel about in this moment. My vision, my purpose, servicing people, helping people, even as I'm stuttering, that's more important than my feeling. And it's on you to show up every single day. It's that courage to do the next thing, to grow in who you are, to keep going. Because courage is only courage if you fear something. Okay, I fear something. That's what courage is, but it's actually the doing that makes you courageous. And saying all that is it's courageous to say, that's not actually how I think. That's actually not what I think about this whole situation. I'm not doing that. That's not how I feel. No, let me block that out because that's not me. A lot of times we let people project these things on us and it clouds our own judgment. Then we go home by ourselves after we've taken on what they said when we were with them. They projected on us and we're like, oh, well, we walk our little ass up the little steps, go to our room, close the door. We're sitting with ourselves with that thought that they gave us, not knowing that like I didn't feel this way when I left home. When I was in the shower, I was singing his praises. When I was getting my beer ready, even though I don't have a beer, I was singing his praises. But when I drove there, got with them, came back here, now I'm not. Does that make sense? It's a big lesson in our 20s to actually listen to wise counsel, people that's done it, but also contextualize the advice of those people. Where are they coming from? Who are they? If they're giving me that advice, okay, have they ever been in this situation? Why are they telling me this advice? Like, where did that even come from? What state in their life are they in? Where did their parents come from? What ideals do they have? What values does this person have? Beliefs do they have? Okay, if I can contextualize the advice, I know why this person says the what they said. And I can say, okay, yay or nay to what advice they've given me. And, it's easy to kind of contextualize that from a parent point of view. As an immigrant, I know my parents they always say about Nigerians, be a doctor, be an engineer, be something. But lawyer, something. That was a terrible accent. Sidebar, I always, as a Nigerian, I always get so irritated when I hear terrible accents. But sometimes, like, not, like my accent is elite, but some words I just can't piece together. Ya papa is it? You feel me? You see how I'm going. But, as a Nigerian, there's these stereotypes, this level of success, what it looks like, doctor, lawyer, engineer. And that's kind of the advice that people will get, not in that way, but it'll be like, okay, be successful. Okay, read your books. Okay, you want to do a podcast? Okay, what? You want to play ball? My parents, let me sidebar, they were actually supportive. But a lot of the times you get, if it doesn't look like the conventional route to success, it's like, it's on you to say, okay, that's my mom. That's who they are. One, who is this person? My mom. Two, where are they coming from? Okay, they came from Nigeria. Where are they coming from on this idea? Okay, they had to fight for what they got. They came to a different country, not knowing it's a blessing to be an American citizen. They came to this country, survival, survival. They want security for their kids. Okay, that makes sense. But it's not on me to get mad at them because they don't want me to do what I want to do. It's like, it's not that they don't believe that you can do the thing creatively. It's on you to recognize and realize that, okay, bruh, security is what they want. If I can plan out a plan, write it out on how I'm going to be secure and what that looks like, it'll turn the conversation. And if you're listening, if you're watching, just knowing that's the same with people in your life around you in your circle, that you don't have to say, oh, like Nora just said, hell, shit, that wasn't what I thought, and I took what they thought. Let me X them out of my life. No, it's not about that, because you're there for a reason. Maybe you're the leader, you're the person to change their life by a thought, by a situation, by just being you over and over and over again. And as that person sees you over and over and over again, show up as yourself, they're like, that brother got something different on him. He's shining. I know he's beautiful, but God got a little different light shining on him. You damn right. And I'm not talking about this light. I'm talking about something else, as the light trying to shine in my eyes. But just knowing that, one, who am I? What do I think about myself? What are the deep, dark thoughts that I have? What are the thoughts that I lay dormant in my head? What are the thoughts that I need to fight with audacity, intentionality every single day? If you think a thing, it's not on you to sit there and let your mind believe beat the hell up out of you every single day. It's on you to get the hell up and beat that hoe up, like, period. Because someone wins each and every day. It's a fight. And this is your life, fight or flight. Are you going to flee from that thing and get into environments that also are fleeing from their own mind belief? Or are you going to sit into it? And I'm like, nope, hell no, I'm 10 toes. I know what I am. I know who I am. And even though I feel this way, I'm going to grow through this by knocking the hell out of this negative voice every single day. I get passionate about it because it's something that many people don't realize, and we don't often address. We don't often talk about it. It's our environment in our 20s. Our environment starts up here. It starts in our head. Our environment starts in here. Let's say it again. Our environment starts in our head. And these movies that we play in our head are always negative, 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 negative. And we got negative movies, negative stories playing, this negative talk tape just playing in my head over and over and over. And so when I leave the door, when I go talk to somebody else, I'm projecting now because I listen to somebody else's projection. And I'm like, oh, I'm negative. And then when they come to me, oh, I'm a project onto them. It's a chain of negativity. Then we go on our mobile device. And then we look at negativity, 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 other people projecting on other people on why they can't, why you must not, why you're scared. There's something that I saw on TikTok. And she said something, let me sum it up. She basically was like, you better be careful what you tell people. Basically, literally, kind of this conversation. Better be careful what you tell a friend, because their energy, hell, you never know. The evil eye is watching. I said, I don't give a damn if no evil eye is watching me. That evil eye should, because the light that I have, and not this light that I just pointed, the light that I have inside me, the evil eye should be watching, should be scared, should be dangerous. I'm not whispering. I'm not holding back great testimonies that I have in my life, something that's good about my life. I'm not holding that back for nobody. I'm going to tell, because when you tell those things, testimonies, truths, good things that happen to you, it's like, oh, that's attainable. God is no respecter of persons. If he can do it, his black ass with his mouth all wet and white, and that means that I could do it too. That's why I have a podcast. That's why I share, because having that example, having that person in your life, okay, damn, like, that's dope. Like, okay, I can do it too. And when I saw that TikTok, I'm just like, bro, this is so terrible information, because it's like, the evil eye is watching. Be careful on what you share, people. Who are you going to share it with? So you're just going to be introvert, just quiet. Oh, when good things happen to you, secret. I don't believe in secrecy because I believe in power, and I recognize the power that I have. No matter who knows about what I'm doing, I will tell about anything because the Spirit of the Lord is within me, dwells in me, works through me. The advocate, the guide, my helper is the Spirit of the Lord. Yeah, I go preaching because it's like, bro, he's the head, I'm the body. You can't separate the head from the body. So everything he can do, I can do. He gives me the authority to do so through his spirit in me. I'm an open vessel of the Lord. As I walk, as I move today, move through me. Make straight the way of the Lord, and I'll walk in it. You think I ain't tiptoeing in my Jordan through that path? I don't care about what people say. It doesn't make sense. So it's arming yourself with that knowledge in your 20s to know that, bruh, y'all live on a little shifty foundation. That's not how I play my game. I like to play my game on solid ground, on a solid foundation that stays no matter how I feel. Tornado coming, rain coming, that hoe's still gonna be rock solid, like rocked up. Hey, you talking about that hoe is not gonna change? I like to stay on that foundation, not trendy foundations, trendy take, lack of originality, lack of independent thinkers. I don't like to do that. And so I don't know. I can do a part 2 on 20s, advice for your 20s, because I think it's a lot. There's a lot that I'm learning right now in this season of my life, but I know that I'm not going nowhere. And you see how I'm sitting with my do-rag on and my hoodie on, chilling. I'm chilling in my 20s, learning in my 20s. I'm growing in my 20s, but I'm not where I don't need to be. I'm right where I need to be. And I'm blessed, not stressed. I'm under stress, yes, because I think placing yourself under stress makes you a better person. Placing yourself like you in the gym. I'm in the gym. I'm like, damn, I'm tired as I'm lifting these weights. But as I look back, boy, that boy went from 300 to 245 for a reason because I placed myself under stress to grow. In your 20s, you should feel a little, you shouldn't be anxious because God didn't give you that spirit. It happens. I am anxious. I talk about it all the time, but I talk about how I'm going to face it. But it's like placing yourself under stress is what you should do, what you should be under to grow. But it's a choice to be stressed. I'm not stressed. I'm blessed. Hey, you talking about? I know that. That's my truth. That's the truth. And in your 20s, there's a lot of truths that we need to learn. You don't know what you don't know in your 20s. Keep growing in your 20s. Keep glowing in your 20s. The kid that did, Norense, say, if you like this episode, if you like anything that you ever heard in this Mind Bully podcast, please do me a favor. And I mean this wholeheartedly. Rate and review this podcast. It means the most. I haven't had a review in a long time. And sometimes that mind bully's like, I don't have a review. I don't know it. Am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong? I don't give a damn. I know God got a plan for me, and I'm going to keep growing and use the information I have to keep glowing and keep growing in what I have. So rate and review this podcast. If you love this content, do me that favor. Till the next one, peace and love.